How you doing out there, folks? I hope everything's going well for you. I've got another one of these videos that I've been doing. This is the Invisible Man versus Merrick, Bank, and the Robot, Part 18. There's quite a few of them. You'll see them all on social media, I'm sure. In case you missed it, here's another one. And I'm starting a new gimmick here. I want to try to make an attempt here to have me with this disguise to sing one of my songs from over 40 years ago. I've done it in the last video. It seemed to come out alright. Okay, the title of this song is going to be You Make Me Happy. It's written over 40 years ago. I wrote it for my wife when we first started going together. So I had demos done and all. And this particular music was done by George Liberace in California. It was a big thing in those days. You would write songs, you send in the lyrics, and you could get the music done. For a fee, of course. Okay, I'm going to make an attempt to try to start this up now. You know, having the music here, me in this disguise, and then with this dialogue and all I'm doing. I want to try to do it now. Okay, I'm going to see how it's going to come out. Let's see. That was it. Didn't come out too bad. The reason I'm using this song right now, you know, when I'm discussing all these harassing phone calls and all, because it did make Marie happy when she received that offer from Merrick Bank. So that's the reason why I picked this song, because I wrote quite a few songs back in the day. And you can see how that the lyrics, you can see it was written for Marie. Well, for both of us, but really for her. Because when we first met, I was an aspiring songwriter. And she knew it too. Maybe that's why we started to get together with the music. So I was writing the songs, and she could sing, and she could play the piano by ear. So it started, that's how our relationship started. It was over these songs. So let's see, now we're going to get back to this Merrick, Bank, and the Robot. Yeah, I've been doing these videos because I'm trying to get the message out there, you know, to everybody that might be having problems. That's very possible. Just Merrick Bank alone has close to 1 million customers. Can you imagine all the other banks? Can you imagine how many people might be having problems with credit cards because they can't pay? That's the whole thing. Can't pay, you can't pay. But these banks, with these unethical tactics, they think that you just don't want to pay. I don't know what it is they think that. You get the money, you use it, and they think if they don't come after you, you won't pay. But if they come after you and you can't pay, you can't pay. It's just the system, that they have with these calls. It's robocalls, you know that. Everybody knows it. It's been going on for a while, too. This is not really new. It's evolved right now to the way it is. But back in the day, it was different. See, the laws have been in like the early 1990s, all these laws to protect the consumer. Because before that, these creditors and debt collectors were really using tactics. I used to get calls back in the day. I was getting calls at 7:30 in the morning for collection for bills. A woman would come on there at that time in the morning. What do they think? Bothering you like that, you're going to pay, make you pay? I told the woman, I can't pay. You can call me all you want. It's not your company, right? She said, no, I just work for them. So what? So why are you so concerned? Well, you owe the money, right? I said, yeah, never denied I owed the money. But you have to pay. If you don't pay, we're going to take action against you and you're going to have to pay. So why don't you do it, make it easier on yourself and pay? I said, well, I don't care what you say. I can't pay, all right? And I hung up on her. But see, it was different then. They actually had people calling you. Not all these automated calls, That's the reason why I'm, they had to stop that. And that's when the laws were formulated about those calls. That was before 8 o'clock in the morning. They're not doing that now. They can't call before 8 o'clock in the morning or at 9 p.m. at night. 13 hours, isn't that enough? And the calls, it doesn't stipulate in these laws how many times they're allowed to call you. And that's one of the problems. They have to be determined with a lawyer. That's why you need one. Because if you have a phone log and you have track of all the calls, it's very important. That's the only way you're going to figure it out. If you start seeing 3 or 4 calls real close together, now what was the purpose of that? Is that to annoy you? Well, if you feel annoyed or harassed, chances are you are being annoyed and harassed. So if you think you can't do anything about it, well, you have another thing coming, because everybody knows that there's lawyers for everything. And they do charge a lot, In this case, there are lawyers that charge you. Maybe if a credit card company sued you and you needed a lawyer, but they also do it the other way too. They may charge, it depends. But not the consumer advocate attorneys. They don't charge. I have one, I know for sure. I didn't know that either. I used to think, oh, well, you know what, I can't get no lawyer. I can't afford a lawyer for this. I have to withstand it somehow. And I didn't think I could, figuring it was going to cost me more than what I owed. So, of course, I didn't bother with it. I started trying to find out other ways to stop them from calling. So I used to send out certified letters, cease and desist letters telling these companies and creditors, debt collectors and all, cease and desist all communication with me, and I would sign it, and I would make a copy, and I would get, when I got the return receipt, now that usually stopped it, but the creditors don't have to go by that. So, all that because I tried it already since I got in trouble when Marie passed away this last year, and it didn't work really. They started, stopped, they didn't know what to do. So then I got an attorney. I went online and I looked up one of the banks that was starting to call me when I couldn't pay, and his name popped up, and there was just put in your name and all, and you tell him in there what's your case is about, and then he'll answer you. But in this, so that's when I got him. He said, I can help you, Frank, with all your cases and all those. I need all this information so I can start working on it. He gave me a contract in my name and explained everything, that he's not going to be charging for the services, or then the consultation is free. If he would get any money, he doesn't take a percentage. I mean, you really, I was surprised. I didn't believe it because I was hesitant a little bit. I said, okay. So he emailed me, the contract with him, between me and him, and I signed it and all. And he signed it, and that was it, and started. I sent him the phone log and all that, and all the information I had about everything. And he worked on it, and he got rid of all those accounts. They all stopped paying, and he got paid. Now, he doesn't get paid in case, like one of the cases I had, it wasn't resolved, we didn't win it. So he doesn't get paid for his time in service. So you got to keep that in mind. And I didn't have to pay him either, so that's why I'm bringing it all up now. I'm going to be bringing it up throughout this video. Now, his name is Paul Mankin. That's MANKIN. And he's got a toll-free number, free consultation, and the number is 800-219-3577. Again, I'll repeat it, 800-219-3577. I put it here in the beginning of the video, because in case you don't want to go into the description, and get it, this way you could get it right now and jot it down so you'll have it. So back to this whole thing. So all those cases were done. And I had an account with Merrick Bank. It was in Marie's name. I was still paying that after he took care of all these other ones, because I figured it was so many. So what happened was I kept paying, and then the calls started. And, well, let me go back a little further, how that happened. In 2018, Marie and I were getting along okay, it wasn't, we weren't too happy. But, the mail came, I gave her the letter for her, and I didn't know what it was. I really didn't even check. I just said, here, Marie. And her interest was not too good at this time. Neither was mine. So she opened it up, and, oh, Frankie. I said, oh, boy. What happened? She said, oh, Merrick Bank. I don't even know who they are. They want to give me $600 credit. I said, oh, okay. Well, you want it. It's in your name. She said, well, I don't know about the rest of this. Double your credit line and all that. I said, let me look at it. And it said, make 7 on-time payments, and you'll get another $600. She said, oh, Frankie, we'll have some money. We could get things. I said, Marie, but we have a lot of credit right now. I don't know if this is a good idea. Oh, I want it. So it made her happy. So, of course, remember the song that you just heard? You Make Me Happy? It made her happy, so I said, okay, Marie, let's do it. Now, you want to do it by phone or internet, not paper? She said, no, I don't want to do it on the phone. I might say something wrong. Okay, we'll do it on the computer. Then we filled everything in on the computer. Come down there, we're authorized user. She put me on it, so she's the card holder. And there's a whole bunch of stuff there. I read it to her. I said, you got to check that. She said, so I'll just check. I said, well, you're going to give them permission to make calls, about the account and all, using an auto dollar and text messages and all that. She said, oh, I don't care about that. I don't even know what that is. Well, they're going to call us. You're making all the payments. You've been making all the payments for years on our accounts. I said, okay, yeah, I'm going to make the payment. There's no doubt about it. But they just say they want permission, She said, what if I don't check it? I said, if you don't check it, I don't think they're going to give you the credit card. It still might go through, since it's on the computer. Even if you don't check it, it might. But usually, when you don't fill something in right, you know what happens. It won't submit. It keeps going back when red or something, that you got to fix that. But I don't think it'll go through. So I said, all right, check it. And I said, what else? I said, hit submit. And it came back, on the email, and it said, you've been approved. Double the credit line, and you'll get your cards in 7 to 10 business days. And Marie was very happy about it, and I said, okay, we want to let's keep busy here. She says, I'm going to be writing down, look at my shows. I'm going to be writing down what I want to, be getting, I said, nothing really big. She said, some small items. I said, well, she's going to write down all the, when they give you a number on the screen, you could call it, so she'll already have it. She's not going to wait till she sees the ad again. I said, okay, you could do that. And then when the card comes, I'll go over the thing. So about a week later, the cards come. I knew what it was. You know how it's in the mailer, you could tell. There's 2 cards in there, so I gave it to her. She says, oh, Frankie, I know what this is. She knew. Because she's waiting for that, looking for that. Yeah, she said, there's the 2 cards. And there, there was, she picked it too. That's another thing. She picked the design. A lot of nice designs. That's one thing I noticed about the credit cards. They do have some nice designs. I normally would like the plain one, but she liked the design. So it had an eagle with a flag in the background. It's beautiful. I showed it in one of my videos. A couple times I've put the card on the screen. So we got the card. She said, now what? I said, we better sign our names on the back. And I'm going to call it in and activate it. I said, you want to do it, Marie? She said, oh, no, you do it. Okay, so I did it. And, you just punch in the information. Again, another robocall. There's no live representative there. They all do that. Because it's going to be activated as soon as I use one of the phone numbers that is associated with the card. It's going to be activated. But again, they still might ask some questions. That says all accounts associated with this card holder are now active. So I said, okay. It's the same number. So it doesn't, I didn't have to activate mine and she didn't have to activate hers separately. So that's all done. Now we start using it and everything. She couldn't wait. Marie, take it easy. I was there sometimes when she made the calls. I told her, make sure you write it down and give me, I want to keep track of everything because, that money can go quick. They gave $600, right? By the time they took off for the, membership fee and all, and for the authorized user, it was already down to $500. See, that's what they do. If you get credit and you owe the money, you don't end up getting the benefit of all the credit. Okay, so that was all done. And some months are passing again, Marie's still pretty happy because she's getting the things she wanted, and she's doing it on her own, making her feel good. So time is passing. Like I said, the double the credit line did go in and all. So now Marie starts getting sick, We've been sick off and on and going to the doctors every month and taking medications and operations and all. But we've been staying out of the hospital, She started to get really sick, so I had to, send her to the hospital, emergency. They start working on her and treating her. She started to get a little bit better. And I talked to the doctors, and they told me, Frank, she has to go into a nursing home. I know I hate to tell you this, but, she needs 24/7 care, I don't think you can give it at home, where you're at. I said, no, I can't, even though, we have AIDS coming and all that, but it's not enough. Okay, so I found one in the neighborhood, still about a mile from where we live. I walk it and walk it back. It's a pretty good walk for me, but I was doing it. She was doing good. Once she first got in there, in the beginning, it was a little shaky. But after, a few months, like say about 4 months, the end of the 4th month, she was looking better, feeling better, talking better, everything. And I was going on all these visits, I was going as much as I could. Would you believe me? She was asking me, Frankie, you still paying Merrick Bank? Make sure. So I don't want to, ruin my credit. I said, no, Marie, everything's taken care of. Look at that. She remembered that. And she's got dementia and Alzheimer's, too. But something like that. See how important this card was? Because, it's coming to the end of her life, and, and we're together. And it's all about this card at the end. What was going on. It's a big thing with this card. For us, So finally, she's starting now in the 5th month, she's starting to get a little bit, I noticed. And that wasn't right away. Maybe it's the care they give there because they're understaffed and all, on the weekends especially, and neglectful and all, So that's why I was going there so much, trying to, make sure. So she's starting to cough more, the congestion, because she had respiratory distress too, to top it off. And I noticed it, so I noticed she was, towards the end of the month, I started to try to go more, to, encourage her. Give her hope, but she wants to come home, and, she's helpless there. She can't do nothing about it, But all the things she has wrong, So I went there like on a Thursday, Saturday, and a Monday, and she seemed about the same. That day on Monday, we went in the dining room there. I stayed with her. She ate, got her back in her room. She seemed okay. A little disoriented, but otherwise she, wasn't bad. So I waited a few days. I figured, she seemed to be okay, And they're supposed to call me if anything changes, but they didn't do it. So I went there on Saturday because I usually go on Saturday because there's not too many people working. So I went there, and she's in the bed. It was like lunchtime. Normally she would be up, and around, but she wasn't. So I asked her roommate, what happened? Oh, we've been like that for a couple of days. She don't want to eat. She just wants to sleep. I said, well, they bring the food, they check her, they bring the food back, she don't touch it. So when I was there, the lunch comes. So I said, can you help me to the lady there? Can you help me get her up? Yeah. Because they're not doing nothing. They just leave it. They don't feed her, try to feed her or nothing. So I she was up there and she's looking around, but her eyes are closed. She can't see. She's like in a stupor, but I try to give her some, coleslaw and applesauce, all soft stuff there, because she's on that diet like that for the soft food. So I got her to take it. She swallowed it, and all she was, she's still, responsive enough for that. And I wash it down with a little water real slow, And she just started to drift off again. She wanted to go, so I put her down, let her go. I said, let me see, because she wasn't coughing or nothing. No congestion. She didn't seem to be in pain. She's nothing. She was calm, so I didn't like it, I tell these people working there, but they just tell you, oh no, she'll be all right, don't worry. But that's what it is, I think, because she was in the state that she was in, because she was like, so calm, some people, that's the way they are, she doesn't want to eat, and that's no good, So I started to try to revive her myself. She's still in and out of consciousness. She wasn't, and she still felt all right, her body, And I start massaging her. I massaged her feet, and she said, stop that, Frankie. And she knew I was there, so when she said that, I figured, well, at least she's responding and all. Maybe now that she could get some dinner in her, but nobody's going to do anything there like that. I think, well, on the weekend, So around 3 o'clock in the morning, I get a call. I knew right away when the phone rang. I was hoping that they had sent her to the emergency room, I would have felt a lot better. Because they can do things that they can't do in that nursing home. She needed some kind of medical care, I guess. But they did. They called it the rescue. By the time they got there and all, they couldn't revive her. She passed away. Look at that. And I had seen her, and I talked to the nurse that called me. She was a nurse. She said she just came on duty. I said, do you think so? She said, I don't know. She was that way when I did the bed check. I saw her. She wasn't responding. We tried to, work on her, but we couldn't get her to come around, so I wasn't happy about that nursing home. But I went and contacted the Pennsylvania Department of Health also. I got complaints in and all. They found deficiencies there. But you know how they cover everything up. For bad outcomes, those nursing homes. So after that, I didn't know what to do. I'm so alone. I'm still alone, by myself after being together with someone like that so long, over 40 years. And now I'm by myself. That's what I'm trying to do the best I can. Back to this. After that, I didn't know what to do. Remember, I had all the accounts I told you. I got the lawyer and all. And I was still paying Merrick Bank now at this time. So I didn't know what to do. I said, let me try to pay a little. When I could. I went for a few months after that. I needed to try to get myself together, I was so upset, So finally, I couldn't pay, and the calls started. In November of 2019. They started on the landline and the cell phone. So this is the thing with these calls, these harassing phone calls. You mean they're not harassing if someone doesn't get on the phone and threaten you? I think it's worse, because you could at least have a chance to say something. They don't give you a chance to say nothing with these calls. Imagine both lines that was on her account. Of course, when Merrick Bank was calling, they didn't know she had passed away. That's the problem with all that. By doing it the way they're doing it, maybe the first month, you're late. Once they put the late fee, then it triggers the calls, right? Okay, she's passed away and they don't know. Instead of triggering the robot to start the calls, they should have triggered a human being to make the calls. They would have done that, I definitely would have answered, because I know what it's about, and I would have told them. She had passed away, and, I can't pay. And I'm only an authorized user. You think they were going to start those calls if I would have told them that? I doubt it, because they know they're just not going to be able to collect it. Anybody that works there, any supervisor, if someone passes away, they know. And if I'm an authorized user, Well, they couldn't have done too much. I doubt if the calls would have started, that means I wouldn't have got the lawyer against them. I wouldn't be doing all this either. So I told them what it was. You know, if that's what I would have told them. If they would, somebody would have called me, but no. All they do is with all the accounts, they just make those calls. And they were calling most of the time. Well, they call a little bit in the morning, not so much. Most of the calls were afternoon and evening. I know one day, this is when they were calling on both numbers, one day I got 7 calls. I just noticed it recently. 7 calls. 5 on the landline and 2 on the cell phone through the day. You think that's not harassment? What is that? What do they think that does? What do they think? If they do that to you enough, you're going to get upset? Why would they want to upset you? They want you to pay. I don't know why they would upset you. That's what they're doing. Maybe they think you'll change your mind about paying them and you'll get some money or what. I don't know. If they really think so. I mean, in this case, I couldn't. I tried. I was trying and all, but I couldn't do it. But you see what I'm saying about these calls? They keep calling like that. It's just, I guess they go through a cycle. They just keep calling. It doesn't matter if they call 1 person or 100 people. The machine is doing it. The auto dialer, whatever you want to call it. So they don't worry about it. It's all set up. Nobody has to even be there really to do anything. But I notice on the calls, yeah, they have their name. Merrick Bank is on the caller ID. On the landline, but not the cell phone. See, that's why I think all that, those laws, because of that. Because if they call you on the cell phone, the number comes up. You don't know what number that is. And no name doesn't come up on there. I knew it, because at least on the landline, I know it's Merrick Bank. And I saw the number and I checked the numbers. It all goes back to the call center. So on the cell phone, you know what you can do. If you know someone's number and you put it in there with their name, it's going to come up with their name. So that's what I did. It was like, I think it was 6 different numbers. So from the landline, I got the number, and the cell phone, when they called, I knew the number. So it was 800 number, like 877, something like that, 866. So I knew that. So I would put their name. So when the cell phone rang, there it is, Merrick Bank. The reason that's important, if you're getting other calls, and you're going to try to keep a phone log, you're going to have a hard time doing it because there are going to be so many calls in there for you to figure out which is which. At least that way, after the first week or so, all the calls was in there, from Merrick Bank. And I noticed they were calling on Sunday. And what they did on Sunday, remember there's 7 days, but they was only using 6 numbers. The number they used on Saturday was the same number they used on Sunday. I guess that's how they had it set up. If you were getting called on Sunday, that means they called me 4 times on Saturday, and that same number they used was on Sunday also. For whatever calls they make. That's the way it's set up. And all the numbers go to the call center. Nobody leave a message. Nope. No message. Nothing. It says it on the cardholder agreement, because I was reading it, that they're supposed to leave a message. Have an answer machine, and they can leave a message, and you can call them back. Like if you picked it up, it's supposed to be a recording saying someone will be with you shortly. This call could be recorded. That's what it's supposed to be, but it's not. Not on none of the calls I got. Over 60 calls I got in November of 2019. And plus, it would have been more. That was only for like 2 weeks. I contacted the lawyer, I had for the other cases. He right away stopped. He's got litigation in against them. What is it for? For the calls. And also, they're calling me about somebody else's account, because me and Marie both have our own names and accounts. And that account is in her name, not mine. I don't know what kind of violation that is about that, calling you about somebody else's account. I heard about that. But that means if someone was using your name maybe and got an account, they would be calling me, even though I would say that's not my account. Or they would have got somebody else's name by mistake that was similar, and they were calling you about the account. But in this case, when they're making those calls, Marie's already passed away, but they don't know that. So, but I'm getting the calls, and both phone numbers are in my name. Now, the lawyer took the case right away. He deals with Merrick Bank a lot, so he knows. He's got in there about the calls. He put an example of like 4 calls, I think it was, 4 or 5. You know, the sequence to show it. 4:15 p.m., 4:35 p.m., 5:15, 7:25, you know, something like that. That's kind of close together. What does that look like? To me, it looks like harassment. Like I keep saying, if you feel like you're harassed, then you are being harassed. If it's bothering you, that's what they want to do. They're not supposed to do that, you know. And they know that it has to be proven. You know, and the only way to prove it's get an attorney. If they leave it up to you, you know, they can do what they want. They are violating the laws. But not the violation that would make, you know, the Consumer Protection Bureau, the Federal Trade Commission, or Better Business Bureau come down on them, you know. They know that's going to have to, because I've contacted the Consumer Protection Bureau, and I went back and forth with one of the banks, you know, that was contacting me and all. And what they do is, this was when I was doing everything, this was a few years ago, doing everything in writing. So I'd write a letter and I send it to the Consumer Protection Bureau. I tell them about all the calls and everything, and I would get assigned to an agent. You know, that would be the guy I'd be working with. So he gives the bank that information. And then the bank tells him, and then he writes me back and says the bank said this and the bank said that. You know, in that situation, why they were calling me? The bank said because I didn't answer. Why would I answer when I know I can't make an arrangement? I think their name might have come up on the caller ID. Why would I answer when I don't want to be bothered with them? I can't do anything. I wanted the calls to stop, you know, because I did send them a cease and desist letter, this company, and they stopped calling. When I went through the Consumer Protection Bureau, this is what this bank said. They said because I didn't answer the phone. So then they also wanted me, can you believe it? They wanted me to rescind the cease and desist letter. I'm not going to take that back. For what? And then they said, if you start paying us again, they're in the fine. So what are they going to do? If I rescind the cease and desist letter, then I won't probably be able to do it again, because it said you already did it and you rescinded. So don't do anything like that if you ever send it out. And they try to trick you into doing that because they want to start calling you again. What the bank said. And the Consumer Protection Bureau, the guy said, look, what you're going to have to do is get an attorney and go after them. Because, you know, it's a dispute, you know. And they said they don't intervene. Look at that. So you can do all that, but the only thing it is, he did tell me we keep those complaints, you know, on file. You know, so we know against that bank we have enough complaints. Then we can go after them. Or change some kind of laws or something. But see what can happen? If you don't have an attorney? So I went to the Consumer Protection Bureau instead. But this Merrick Bank has got me so upset. It's bad enough I lost Marie after over 40 years. That's a big loss. They're worrying about the loss of money here. Yeah, you can't put any dollar sign on somebody's life, you know? Okay, so this is bad enough. All the calls stopped in November 2019. A month and a half later, they start calling again. And I had litigation in. It was like, right in the beginning of January. Last month, 2020. And I let it go again for a couple of weeks. I said, wait a minute, they're not calling on the cell phone. That's what I waited to see, you know. Nope. No calls on the cell phone. Not this time. I wonder why. Because they didn't know they were still calling me, I don't think. Because when the attorney put in the litigation, he said somebody else's account. So maybe they knew that it wasn't from, you know, Marie then. It would be me. But it said, in the cardholder agreement, it said it doesn't matter who answers the phone. So then it doesn't matter. In this case, I'm the authorized user, so it's going to have to matter. So they're calling me, and like I said, I wait a couple of weeks again. I said, no. I contacted the lawyer, and I told him, and he said, because I already had the litigation, he'd have to do nothing else. He said he's going to reach out to them and stop the calls, but they didn't stop. Like, no, I waited. You know, I was getting impatient. I was getting more annoyed and, you know, madder every minute. Every time these calls started, it was just annoying me. Because I know what they're doing, you know, and I could see the pattern, you know. So I called him and contacted him again, and he says he's going to make them stop. And right after that, it stopped. Now, he also told me he contacts them every 2 weeks. So when I first contacted him, it was probably he had just contacted them, so I guess he doesn't want to contact them too often for a reason, right? Now, remember I said month and a half? It started up again? I figured it out. They have a 45-day rule that if they don't hear from an attorney or from a customer or something, they're allowed to call, or the information that was wrong or something, to call you like that. I don't know about calling you like that, though, the way they were calling. Plus, it's not a live, it's not a live agent either, not a person. Okay, so it was on the, I think he put in the litigation around the 18th of November, 2019. So if you count 18, there's 12 days left in November, and December had 31 days, that's 43. Then you go into January, 44, and the 2nd of January is 45th day. So I finally figured out why they called back at that time period. So what, in 45 more days from that, they're going to start calling again because it's quiet now. That would be April 12th. It better not happen again. I don't think it is because, the lawyer, they can't say he didn't contact him in 45 days. He told me he contacts them every 2 weeks about the case. He knows what to do. He's been dealing with Merrick Bank anyway. Plus, the one he's contacting, the court or whatever, it's in California where he is. So maybe there's a disconnect there. Maybe somehow the call stopped because that litigation went in. But maybe this 45-day rule that they have set up, maybe that's also on the computer, with the set up like it is with the call. So as soon as it was taken out, maybe that started to count, and then in 45 days the computer started dialing the calls again. But it didn't do it only on the landline, not the cell phone. You see all this? And I had phone logs too. That's how I know all this. What I'm saying, when you keep a phone log, you can see the way the calls are. You can see it. Just look at the pattern. Now, in January of 2020, I got over 80 calls. And they didn't call on Sunday either. Look at that. They didn't call on Sunday. They did when they called me in 2019. See how they changed that pattern? I know it's changeable. They have it set up. They can, a person has to program it. But then from that point on, well, whatever program they have, probably different setups, And they just set it that way, and then set it and forget it, So that's the way. When they were calling me, like I said, they didn't call me in, January of 2020, they didn't call me on Sunday. 4 times on Saturday, kind of close together. And then no calls Sunday. No calls Monday. I said, what's going on? What happened? The lawyer, I thought maybe the lawyer got to them. I went, oh no. Monday, then in the afternoon and evening, there's the calls again. What's that, psychological warfare they use? And, what's that supposed to do? Make you get a false sense of security and then bam, hit you. That's not harassment? And if I wasn't harassed, I wouldn't be doing all these videos. This is the 18th one. No, really more than that. I did, 10 more before this, when this all started. I started all this, ranting about Merrick Bank right in the beginning of January when they started the calls, because that's how ticked off I got, because they had stopped and all. I didn't do it in November because I had the lawyers got the litigation in. I think they start calling me in January because maybe sort of like a retaliation against me, putting in the litigation against them. I don't know. That's what I thought, but now I think it has something to do with the system they have set up. That it's not right, because it says it in the. I read that cardholder agreement. I read it on the computer here. I think it was in part 17. I read it all. I had written it out so I could read it, and I went over it all. And it has something to do with that 45-day rule that they have. I think it's got mixed up here. They got a disconnect because with that litigation, it might have messed it up because they got so many different departments that whoever is running that, checking that computer, whatever that makes the calls, probably had it set 45 days, and there it goes. Exactly 45 days. Now, I know the lawyer knows all about it. He don't need me to come up with that. He has to know. Because I think once the litigation's in, so they're saying, so what are they saying? If the litigation is in and they don't contact them in 45 days, they can start calling again? It doesn't say that because, say they weren't calling you. Say that 45-day rule means that you had said you had an attorney and you didn't, and they couldn't contact them, and the attorney didn't contact them, so they assumed that you don't have an attorney. So then the 45 days would start again. So that's a rule that they set up. I don't think all banks have that. That's something that Merrick Bank has, because I think they know they do have problems with attorneys and all. So they're in litigation. They're trying to put that in there to maybe see if they can slow it down, I guess, or something. Well, let's see what's going to happen here. I know I had other cases. It took months. It takes months to go through the right channels and all. You know what a jury trial is. Sometimes the juries can be out a while in some of these cases, but in this case, I don't think. If it went to a jury with a good attorney that I have, I don't think it would be too much of a problem. I think it would probably do better. Because either way, I'm concerned that they have to be accountable, whether I get anything out of it or not. I'm giving them my satisfaction right now by doing all this. I say bad mouthing Merrick Bank or any bank, because if they want to try to come after me, they're going to come after me now and saying that for a defamation of character. Well, they're the one that has the bad character, not me. I'm transparent. I have nothing to hide, and they're not transparent because they're doing those unethical tactics. They can't be transparent. I said this before, that I'm doing these videos and I don't see anybody. I see myself on the camera, on the screen. So everybody out there is invisible because I can't see you. You can see me. So this is back to this, but like I said, this bank and other banks, I mean, I know what it is. I'm a consumer. And all my years of experience with this, I really want to get this out there, this information. It's that basic information. A lot of people should know it. Maybe you don't. If people are new to credit, they don't know. They get, as soon as something happens, it can happen to you. You might think not. You might say, I'm doing all right, but you never know what could happen. I was doing all right, but we were older and all. So, that's against us, it's against us this time, And all the credit cards in the world I know won't bring Marie back. But I know one thing, that Merrick Bank credit card did make her happy. And that's what I say. That's why I liked it. But, now I'm the one facing the consequences of that. That's why I got to make sure that I get this information out there. And because I'm doing so many of these videos, that I know the same people aren't viewing them. I know that. Because every time I put one on, I see that, I see the views, And some people could look at it again. They might say, well, let's see what he's got to say now, Might be interesting. Because whatever happens, I am going to be, in case I stop this for a while, I might, I'm doing an awful lot of them almost every day, I might want to see, let everything calm down and see what happens. And if I get any new information about it, I'll come back on with another video. All these videos are on YouTube. I looked up harassing phone calls. There's so many videos besides mine. See, they mix mine in. They won't put them all together in a row. Like, in my library, with my videos, then they are going to be in order, as I do them. So if you happen to look online, see, these videos I'm doing, they'll be on there for a while. If I don't take them off, and they don't take it off, if somebody complains about the content, so far, the content's the same. Somebody didn't complain about one video, I don't think they're going to complain about another one. But I mentioned a few times, because with all these videos I'm doing, I could pass away, and these videos will still be on there on YouTube. Because I look up stuff and I see it. 6 years, 3 years, 6 months. Most of mine are in months yet, because I haven't been doing this for over a year yet. So mine are more recent, with all the stuff I've been putting on there. That's why I did it with these songs, because, I wrote all these songs. and I have it on YouTube, and I'm doing the, I'm performing them and all. So I did it different this time. I performed it as the Invisible Man. Maybe a new gimmick, Even when this is all over with, and I'm done with this for a while and get on, I might start doing my songs, the demos, as the Invisible Man, Something different, That's how you get into different things. It's a novelty, I guess, as you might call it, Something, a gimmick or anything. So you don't have to put up with this harassment from these banks. I mean, it's the biggest thing, That's why it's keeping everybody in business, It's keeping the attorneys in business, keeping the debt collectors in business doing all this. It's keeping that. Why debt collectors are very busier than ever. There's just so many accounts, You got to have a lot of debt collectors, because you can imagine one bank like Merrick, some with 1 million customers. How about all the other banks? You know how many credit card companies there is? Can you imagine all those customers? Millions and millions of customers? And you know darn well the law of averages says everybody cannot be on time. It's not a perfect world. But I know some other banks, they do it different. They do call you with a live representative. I guess they know it's better that way in the long run, because they won't have so many cases, pending like that. I mean, I've seen other banks, they have these class action lawsuits and all. I've been involved because I had so many accounts. And when it's a class action lawsuit, you're part of it. If you were a card member of that bank, then you're in it. You're part of it. But you don't get anything, really, because there's so many people on the class action lawsuit. They usually win. With that amount of people, complaining, that's to say about the complaints. So you'll get, like, I think, $7, that's all. So it's better to do it this way on your own, with an attorney. And you're going to get more than $7. I know, according to the law, you could get, for damages, like $1,000. Might be less, it could be more. Because this litigation that he has on me, it's showing that $500 a call. And then I think it's triple, depending on the violations or something, because it could be $1,500 a call. I'm not really interested in that. I mean, I need money and all, like anybody else. I'm more concerned that they be held accountable. If I had a choice to get money or then be held accountable, I'd rather them be held accountable. I would rather have them make a public apologize to me on the social media, like I've been saying about them. One of their big wigs come on there. I want them to make an apology for harassing me, and I want them to give condolences about my wife who passed away and all. You think they'll do it? If they did, I would be surprised. But I'd rather have that than money. I'd have satisfaction. Make them big wigs have to come to their knees and apologize, whether they like it or not, and promise that they'll do better, not to be doing that. They need to come up with a better setup, better system. For them, it's great. But if more and more people come forward, listen to my videos and all, and get these attorneys and start doing these litigation against them, and they start getting a lot of that, they might have to change the system that they use. I mean, I've been so upset with this bank. I contacted, this last month, right after probably the beginning of this month, right after the calls all stopped. And I wrote everything up by hand, because I didn't have an email for I couldn't find it for the Attorney General of Pennsylvania. So I made copies of all the sheets, the phone logs that I had. I explained the whole story, like I explained it here. Got them calling me about somebody else's bill and all the calls that they made, and they started up again. So I got a letter back. I guess it took a couple of weeks, from the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office, and the agent told me that they contacted Merrick Bank, and gave Merrick Bank 21 days to explain all that. Now, if they can't make them respond, but I'm going to see if they're going to respond to that. I figure I'll give them a little more of a problem, another pain, It's in a different state. I don't know what that has to do with it. I was going to contact the Attorney General in their state. I figure, well, maybe he might come down on him harder, because he doesn't want that going on in his state, But I got the Attorney General here in Pennsylvania. They're working on it. They told me any changes, let them know. I let them know that I have an attorney already, because they won't. They could go after him if it's a big enough case, if enough people complained. But they say they just take the complaints and then they investigate. And they said if you don't have an attorney, you still could go further. There's other agencies you can contact, about it. But they're working on it already, and imagine, I can just, let's see, it said 21 days. Probably by the beginning of March there, maybe I'll get an answer, because they'll let me know whether Merrick Bank answered them or not. I want to see what they're going to do about that. One of the bigwigs, huh? One of the flunkies they have working there, huh? They have to answer to that. Are they going to say they didn't do it? When I sent them all the phone logs and all? Because I think I sent it I sent it from November 2018 and January of 2020. So they're going to send copies of that to Merrick Bank. You think they're going to like seeing that? When they look at their list or their computer or whatever printouts, they're going to see I have all those calls like that, accurate and all. They might think twice. Then they're going to check, probably then about litigation. They're going to check everything. They might tell you a little bit nervous, but I don't think it really bothers them that much. They're a big company. They think that they can get away with all that stuff, But we'll see what happens. That's why I say I'm doing all this, and I'll continue to do it. See what happens. I might get notified from the Attorney General. So if they don't answer in 21 days, they'll probably tell me. But I already let them know I have an attorney taking care of it. I have a litigation against them, so we'll see what happens. These are things you can do if you feel like doing it. You can put complaints into your Attorney General of your state. You can put complaints into Consumer Protection Bureau. You can do it online, so you don't have to go through the litigation. Not say litigation, through all the writing like I did, because I wanted to put it through. I wanted to do it that way. But you can contact the Better Business Bureau too. So you can just put in a complaint, tell them what happened, every situation. So they get enough complaints. It does help. I checked in the Consumer Protection Bureau. They got thousands of complaints. Different things, but I think most of it's because of those calls. So that's what you have to do if you want to, The main thing right now, if anybody out there is having trouble at any bank, including Merrick, especially Merrick Bank, because they have all them offers out there, and they have all these things that they try, I guess products that they try to get more customers, You don't have to put up with it, Make sure, I know that the attorney that I have, I mentioned before, that he's a consumer advocate attorney. So he's dealing with Merrick Bank and some other banks there that I had, because he knows that they're using these unethical tactics. And he's been doing this for years. A long time. I don't want to say exactly because I'm not sure, but I know it's quite a while, this attorney. So he's really experienced with this. You're getting the best attorney you could possibly get, and you don't have to pay. That's the thing about it. I want to give you his name and number again. His name is Paul Mankin, Mankin. Toll-free number, free consultation. It's 800-219-3577. That's 800-219-3577. If you want to jot it down. Now, I already mentioned it before, It's going to be in the description, even though people probably want to do all this, and I still type the description. Why? Because you still could read the description while you're listening to the video, or I put different things in the description. Now that I added a new wrinkle here with that song. I don't know if I'll keep doing that. I did it. I don't know how it's going to really come out, but yeah. See, I'm not putting the song in there and say, well, at the end of the video, you know how long my videos have been, kind of long. I'm not doing that. I'm putting it where you get it in the beginning. If you don't want to hear the rest of it, you say, oh, it's the same old thing with this guy, this crackpot. It's all about the same thing, the harassing phone calls and that. If you've already viewed my videos, you'll know that, so you can see the song. That's why I did it that way. That way I said you can still listen to the song, and then if you don't want to listen to it, fine. But the description, I'm probably going to mention about the song a little bit. I do, because the song, really some meaning here with this, like I said. The songs I mostly wrote for Marie, you know. A lot of songs she inspired, you know, me to write. She even called me, she gave me a name in the beginning, but she called me the unknown songwriter. Because she said, nobody knows about me, only she does, so she's called me that. That was her nickname. I've heard that before. Unknown comic, you know, it's not something that great, but to her, it was, you know, she thought it up, and I said, that's pretty good, Marie, I like it. The unknown songwriter. She also gave me another name. I used to come to her house and fix things when we first met, you know, before we start going together over 40 years ago. I was fixing everything. She says, I got a good name for you. I said, what is it, Marie? Frankie the Fixer. Yeah, I told her, yeah, I can fix anything but broken hearts and parking tickets, and she laughed. So I got names that she gave me, you know. And that's how our relationship was, you know. It was that way, you know. That's how come we got along so good, you know. We helped each other, and that's how it was. And I, you know, I stayed, say, a little bit healthier, you know. I'm still, you know, my age and all, I'm in my 70s, so I'm doing the best I can. The reason I'm doing these videos, I'm pretty good at that, because I had a video store over 20 years ago. And I got all them videos on too, you know, that I posted. It's funny that I'm still doing videos, and I was in a video store, and I was making videos of me at the video store and all. That's also on YouTube. You look up my name, Frank Leeper, Leeper, and all my videos are going to come up. They're going to mix them in with other ones because, you know, the subject matter, so that the people looking something up, they don't just see mine. Like harassing phone calls, there's plenty of videos. And some of them are 2 years ago, 5 years ago, you know. That's how long this stuff has been going on. They're complaining about those calls. Harassing phone calls. But the videos are kind of short, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, nothing too long. Mine are kind of long. I guess because I want to do other things. I want to take advantage of it. I want to, now I'm going to promote my song a little bit in there, you know, like I started now. Because I'm endorsing the lawyer besides. And I'm also reminiscing about Marie with this. So it's like a lot, you know. So I can, you know, get this all done, and hopefully I'm helping somebody, and I can make me sleep better at night knowing that I'm doing something now with my life. That's good. I'm also doing other things now. I know I mentioned it. I'm in a clinical trial right now. And I'm getting paid, not a lot of money, but I'm helping people again. See it? Because they're doing these studies, you know, for pain and everything that I'm on now. And I qualify because of my age. And my knees are really getting messed up. They were worse before. I lost a lot of weight. I took the weight off the knees a little bit, but, you know. Now this study I'm on is like, what, 6 months, I think. Almost 7 months. They gave me a smartphone. They're paying me when I go. I'm getting all the tests for free. And they gave me I mentioned this before, a MasterCard. Can you believe it? With all this trouble with credit and all, I'm getting a MasterCard. They're paying me like that. I went for the, you know, the screening, and I was surprised I passed, you know, the blood work, urine test, and you know, they checked my knees and all, and asked me a lot of questionnaire and stuff, and I passed it. If I would have had a dirty urine, I wouldn't have passed. That's important. Because I'm taking medications, but I passed it. I've been going already, I think, over 2 months now. When I first went, then they gave me the debit card, a debit, credit card, both, and they put $100. I went back, oh, there's $100, just like that. Not only that, they picked me up and bring me back. Thank goodness, because I would have had a problem. I don't drive now to get there. So they did all that. And then I went back again. They took MRIs. All these tests are, I know, expensive. I have coverage for it. But it's nice that they take you to the different places for the test, too. It's not where, you know, where their office is and all. And then I went again They did this in the beginning. I'm surprised. I thought they would do it at the end and say, oh, well, to make me last all the time, So I went ahead, when I went to get the needle in the knee, they gave me an injection, and I had another ultrasound, some other tests, EKG, all these tests, blood all the time, so much blood. So I got paid $350 for that day. Plus they picked me up and brought me back. So they put that money on the MasterCard. Look at that. That means with this card I have now, as long as I keep going, I get 100 here, 100 there, and it's the money I need right now, So I'm earning it, but yet I'm not going there that much. Now I went, let's see, I'll be going in March, maybe one or maybe two times. That's $100 there. It's not going to be much now. It's mostly questionnaires. Now I'm filling in every day on the smartphone. Plus I got a smartphone, which I'm using it. I've already made these videos on the smartphone. I can make these videos. Not this one, but I have done it already. And I look up on the smartphone all the things, just like I do on the computer, It's small. I'm not used to it, typing and all, but I have that besides. So I just let anybody know out there, if you really don't let these credit card companies think that they're giving you credit and giving you permission to have to do all the things they say to give you the credit, when you could, if you have time, check into the clinical trials. There's plenty of them. I'm going to see if I could do another one. There's some that are really, they give a lot of money. There's one where I go, but I don't think I'll qualify for it. It's for schizophrenia. If you have something like that, they really want to test. You got to stay for 3 weeks. They have inpatient. You stay for 3 weeks, and then you have to get all the medications and all the tests, and they pay you. I think it's $300 a day. I was talking to somebody who was just getting done with it. There was a woman. She said, "Yeah, it goes quick the time, and they do pay. That's $6,000 for 3 weeks." I don't know what you have to go through. This woman said they feed you good and all, and it wasn't that bad. So I think I can look into it if I can get one of them. I think the biggest thing is, I'm in Pennsylvania. This is in Jersey. There's so many those towns in Jersey that, even though it's not too far, but when you can't get there like with a bus exactly, because it goes around there, but not exactly they don't have a bus that goes there. So they're picking me up. They call me the day before. They tell me, "Frank, be ready tomorrow." The driver will be there anywhere between 7:30 and 8:30. He'll call you. Guy called me. I go downstairs and wait for him, and I tell him where I'm at. He picks me up, and that's it. To pick up some other people. Coming back a few times, I got a ride back by myself. They had Uber. The woman says, "Go out there, Frank, and it'll be a gray car, whatever it is, and there you go. Give me a slip, paper, and that's it." And he kept me right back home. That's a pretty good ride, So I've been doing all that now, even with this. So at least I'm trying to help people one way or another. These clinical trials, it's helping me. Now I found out that I might need knee replacement, because my knee, the one they took the x-ray and the ultrasound and the MRI, they said, from 1 to 4, I'm a 4, they said, "You're going to probably need a knee replacement." Treatment, like I've been getting. Now, they gave me that needle. It does seem to feel better. But that's it. I'm only getting one needle. But I don't know whether I got a placebo or I got the actual medication. They don't tell you that. That's why I'm doing that on the smartphone every day. I'm doing the pain, the pain threshold from 1 to 10. It's been around a 5. It's been staying that way, So, all that now, besides all this, I thought I'd mention it to give, some more information to help people out there. That's what I'm doing. Again, if you're having any problems with Merrick Bank or any bank, you don't have to put up with it. Just keep that in mind. I think every time I put one of these videos, I'm sure somebody probably might have got something from it. You say, "Well, you know what? I listen to that guy. He's right. I don't have to do this." And I'm giving you the attorney to call. I know he's good because I've been dealing with him. I appreciate him a lot, And you don't have to bother too much. Once you're set up with him, he'll let you know. If you get a case and he gets you money, don't worry, he's going to call you. You might have, in this case, he had to send me the paperwork from California because I had to to get it notarized so I could get the check. One of them, not all of them. So I'm just letting you know all this stuff. Better do something than nothing. If you do nothing, you get nothing. You really try, and another way things are today, you never know what can happen. So that's why I'm doing what I can, Because me and Marie discussed everything like that over the years. Something would happen to me, she's going to try to go on the best she can, and if something happens to her, she wants me to go on the best I can. And that's what I'm doing. I know she's better off probably now in a better place. You don't have to put up with all this stuff like, what goes on nowadays. You lived a good long life just like I'm doing, living a pretty long life, today. And that's what you have to do. You have to just take every day as it comes, like it's the last, I usually say what I'm going to do tomorrow. You never know what tomorrow can bring. You don't know. So I wish everybody out there to keep trying, what you're doing. And if you are, like I said, don't hesitate to get this attorney that doesn't charge. I mean, what do you have to lose? You have everything to gain, because at least you could get your life back. Because, those calls can really disrupt you. If you have a family and everything, and you're expecting calls from them, or you're expecting calls from a doctor or something important, you're going to have all those calls in there. I think that's what they try to do. Because I noticed they were calling me more in the afternoon, in the evening, for whatever reason, Whether they think because I'm at home it's going to bother me more, because I'm retired or something. I don't know how they figure that stuff out. They have it set up and that's it, I noticed that you better do something if you're having problems. I'll probably, I'm doing these videos, so many of them, I don't even know what I'm saying. Because I know it's not scripted. You know that, right? I don't have anything written down. I don't have a teleprompter, nothing like that. The only thing I read was, I think, in the last one. I think it was part 17, where I mentioned about the cardholder agreement. I was reading it on the side. I was trying to dissect it, But other than that, I just keep going on and on and on. So I have nobody to talk to either, I'm all by myself, So this way, it's like I'm talking to somebody. Well, I'm talking to myself in a sense. But at least this way, I've got the information out there. I think I better cut it off now. It's starting to get late. I'm ready for another day tomorrow. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see about if I'm going to put any more songs on or not. I don't know. Well, have a great day.